Tonny Iommi and Metallica, Iron Maiden do the impossible again, and your vote is needed to select the best metal album of 2024. Metal is live and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. Marko Hietala, finally! Bassist and vocalist Marko Hietala, to most is known as the former bassist and vocalist of the legendary symphonic metal act Nightwish, has finally stopped teasing his fans and announced something that we all long expected: a new album, and also dropped a new single from it. So the new solo album by Marko will be titled Roses from the Deep and is due to release on February 7th, 2025 via Nuclear Blast Records. And this record will mark the first major release by Marko since Fire of the Black Heart, released all the way back in 2020. And here is what Marko himself had to say about this new album of his. It's about a battle for being under a continuous assault of inner monsters, and the awful truth that in this reality people get to see those monsters too, instead of the real face. And in addition to everything, Marko also promises that this new project of his will offer a unique blend of dark lyricism and cinematic soundscape, whatever that means. But anyways, new music by Marko is always good news. And given the whole fact that, I have to be honest with you, I wasn't really a huge fan of Nightwish's latest releases, but at the same time, I truly did enjoy a bit more straightforward music that Marko Hietala has released on his own. I'm actually really curious to find out what exactly Marko has prepared for us. And the whole fact that he started collaborating with Tarja Turunen once again way more than he did in the last couple of years. In addition to everything, I would be really curious to see those two joining forces in one of the future projects as well. So yeah, I'm actually really excited to hear this new album of his. But I guess we'll have to wait until February next year. Yes, metalheads, it's that time of the year.
How much more black could this be? And the answer is none.
Yes, it's the time of Black Fridays, weekends, months, and so on and so forth. And so in the light of all the big stores and bands, here I just wanted to point out that there is a Black Weekend sale going on at my merch store. So if you would like to support and represent the show and rock out some Metal Pilgrim merch this holiday season, now would be the best time of the year to get it. So guys, head to metalpilgrim.net. All the links of course will be in the description to this video, and I'll be more than happy to send some Metal Pilgrim merch pretty much all across the world. And just in case if you decide to do that, thank you guys so much, because it is thanks to all my patrons and all those who purchase some Metal Pilgrim merch that this show is even able to exist. Avantasia is at it again. Alright, all you Dragon Slayers, be prepared to take out your swords, because Tobias Sammet is back with his Avantasia project and is ready to unleash the band's 10th studio album, which will be out next year on February 28th via Napalm Records. The next chapter of the band, titled Here Be Dragons, promises to be the most consistent and concise piece of art that the band has ever crafted. And according to Tobias himself, on this record he decided to not look at the past and do exactly what he felt like doing at this moment, which according to him actually turned out quite reminiscent of his early days. This new album carries the most adventurous and bold spirit my music has had in decades, and it's rather reckless, fearless, powerful, and uplifting, and not introverted at all. While my previous albums allowed me to get a lot off my chest, this time I dove headfirst into the creative flood, crafting 10 discrete musical pictures that miraculously merged into what I believe is the tightest chapter in Avantasia's history, said Tobias in his statement. And here's the thing, I have to be honest with you guys, I actually never saw Avantasia live before this year, when I actually got to experience them right from the side of the stage at Rock Imperium Festival, when we were fundraising for medical equipment for Ukrainian civilians together with Judas Priest. And I have to be honest with you, that despite the whole fact that I never really was a fan of Avantasia, their live performance has captivated me since the very first moment. So since then, at least for me, Avantasia is one of those bands that you abso-freaking-lutely have to see live, as it is during their live performances that their music really opens up to its listener in a completely different light. So as much as I of course would like to hear some new studio material from Avantasia, it is the latter part of Tobias' statement which has excited me the most. As in addition to everything, after releasing Here Be Dragons, Tobias promises to kick off a big tour with a new stage, showcasing what he promises will be the most spectacular stage show Avantasia has ever delivered. And so yeah, despite the whole fact that we still don't know who will take part in this new chapter of Avantasia, whether Ralph Sheepers or any of the previous members will be a part of this project or not, after seeing Avantasia live, I actually have this gut feeling that for their 10th anniversary release, this band is getting ready to showcase something really extraordinary at their future live shows. And here guys, I know that you most likely hate me for doing this, but the truth is that I simply have to do it. That's how YouTube works, because the thing is that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel. So if you still haven't done so, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching on the show, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to this channel right now. Let's continue building this incredible heavy metal community together. Tonny Iommi and Metallica. In a recent interview to Guitar World, one of the forefathers of heavy metal, the legendary Tonny Iommi, candidly spoke about what he actually thinks about thrash metal, and especially about such bands as Metallica and what they did to heavy metal back in the 1980s. It was nice to hear those thrash bands paying tribute to us. It's great how they were able to push it forward into something new and turn it into their own thing. I was just coming up with things I liked, so it was brilliant to hear about other musicians liking what I'd done, taking that same kind of idea and improving on it, evolving it into their own sound, like Metallica for instance, who probably learned things from us as well as other people. What they did with the metal sound, turning it into thrash, was fantastic. This of course is simply great to hear because we all know how Metallica feels about Black Sabbath. You know, we all remember their induction speech for Black Sabbath into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and overall, throughout the years, both Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield said multiple times that without such bands as Black Sabbath, you know, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Diamond Hand, and Motorhead, there would never be such thing as Metallica. So first and foremost, hearing something like this from Tonny Iommi and understanding that he's not actually, you know, some grumpy old man who's very clingy to his own invention is simply incredible. And I can't even imagine what it might feel like for a band like Metallica to hear something like this from someone you've been listening to since you were a little kid. And even more, Tonny, who, as we all know, is very careful usually with his choice of words, chooses to use the word improve when it comes to what Metallica has done to heavy metal back in the 80s. Not tailor it, not change it, not modernize it, but improve, implying that this was actually something that helped the genre evolve into something new, possibly even something much better than it used to be. And this has actually gotten me thinking about something.
What are you doing? You're not the thinker!
Pretty much every decade, started from the 1970s, 80s, 90s, and up until today, everyone has been saying that heavy metal is dying and will never be able to survive the next decade. Yet despite all that, heavy metal continued striving, specifically because of the whole fact that it was always able to reinvent itself. It was not still, it continued evolving and changing over time throughout the past 50 plus years of its existence. And if we actually take a look at it historically, we'll see that every 5 to 10 years there has come a new band that has revolutionized the genre. You know, starting with the new wave of British heavy metal, thrash metal, black death, metalcore, nu metal, and all the other new subgenres of metal, which ensured that our genre, including the classic legacy heavy metal, will continue striving, whether you like those bands or not. And it was always this continuous evolution of the genre which has ensured a new influx of metal fans, which would later on discover all of the different subgenres of metal there are today. But the problem with it is that living during the time of the appearance of these new bands, you usually don't recognize them as such that would revolutionize this genre in the future. And so looking at the metal scene today, I have to be honest with you, I have no freaking idea who are such bands at this moment. I mean, we all have seen a huge rise of Sleep Token in the last couple of years, and well, I gotta be honest with you, if this is the direction metal is going in the next decade or so, well, I'm actually quite sad because you know, I was really trying, but I couldn't really get into this band no matter how hard I tried. But whether they are the future of metal or not, this is actually up for debate. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you guys personally think? Who are the bands who are doing exactly the same thing as Metallica did to heavy metal back in the 1980s today? Which will be the future of the genre? Will it continue evolving into something new, or will it go in circle and you know, new wave of traditional heavy metal will become the new black? Please let us know in the comments, because this is actually one of the things which has been bothering me for the last couple of months now, and I'm really curious to find out what you guys personally think. And I really want to see whom you think will be the next Metallica of heavy metal. Best album of 2024. Yes guys, it's that time of the year when we, just like last year, will be collectively choosing the best metal album of 2024. Well, best, of course, according to all of you metal pilgrims around the world. So without any further ado, these are the nominees for the 2024 Best Metal Album. So here you go, check out the link in the description to this video, or simply head to metalpilgrim.net and cast your vote for what you consider to be the best metal album of 2024. And just as a reminder, you can actually vote every day. All the details about how the voting can be calculated, as well as the links to all of these albums, will be on the website, so check it out when you get there. And of course, I'm more than excited to announce the winner this December 21st as a part of our Metal Digest. So let the best metal album of the year win. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, a part in which you don't have to watch my face. Yes, it is time for Blitz releases. The legendary Helloween continue teasing their fans with a taste of their upcoming live album Live at Budokan, set for release on December 13th, 2024 via Reigning Phoenix Music. And this week the band dropped a live version of Save Us, taking their fans back to the Keeper of the Seven Keys era, although of course presented in a modern manner, bridging the gap between past and present. Gloryhammer dropped a surprise new single, He Has Returned, which they decided to not announce to their fans prior to the release whatsoever. The new song explores the story of the robot prince of Aukertul, introduced by the band in the past, and although, in all honesty, I've never really been a fan of Gloryhammer, I'm sure that those who follow the guys will definitely enjoy this song. This week was simply incredible for all the power metal pilgrims, as in addition to the previous releases, Elvenking also dropped a new song, Throes of Atonement, on which the band takes its listener back to the 1990s era, as it undeniably has this very old-school epic power metal vibe to it, which I'm sure will be enjoyed by many power metal fans. Swiss rockers Gotthard announced their highly anticipated new album Stereo Crush, set to release on March 21st, 2025 via Reigning Phoenix Music, and of course dropped their first single from it, titled Boom Boom. And this high-energy track has everything a Gotthard fan may want from this band's new material. And the last but not least, Ukrainian hardcore metal act 0% Mercury treated their fans to a new EP titled Aukogihara, which I can't even pronounce properly. And this EP is a spin-off of their track Aukogihara from the We Should Definitely Do This album, expanding on the story presented on the record. Definitely worth a listen if you're a fan of the genre. And here I just wanted to remind you guys that if you would like me to feature any particular release in either this Metal Digest or to feature it in our new playlist Metal 365, available on Spotify and YouTube Music, you can always send it to me for consideration at press@metalpilgrim.net, or simply leave it in the comments under this video. I'll be more than happy to include more new bands in our Metal Digests. Beast in Black's Procrastination. One of the most discussed topic among all the Beast in Black fans under pretty much any news about this band today is when will this band finally announce the release of their new studio album. Just as a reminder, their previous studio release was dropped more than 3 years ago. So I thought that this week, and especially in the light of the latest announcement by Helloween, who will be taking Beast in Black on the road with them on their massive 40th anniversary tour next year, I would finally release a part of our recent chat with Beast in Black, recorded at backstage of Rock Imperium Festival, in which we talk, about this. What is next for Beast in Black? When can we expect, finally, new music from you and hopefully a long LP?
New album? Well, I can't say. I'm the worst person to ask that question because, I struggle with my demons every time I write an album or mix it. The thing with Dark Connection, when we released it 3 years ago, we planned that, okay, let's tour as much as we can. Let's tour the whole world, go to new places we haven't been before. And that happened more than once. We had a couple of US tours, long US tours, headlining there. And one of those tours was a combination of supporting Nightwish and our own headline tour. And it's really difficult to have that mindset for making the album in that kind of a noise, so to speak, so many other non-music related things,
interviews. Sorry about that. We're gonna cut it off here because that's how to go and record an album right now.
Yeah. I wish we had a studio right there next door. Time is my enemy always, so Well, at least we have a plan. And so we are in the working process, album making process at the same time. Something will come out for sure. But really, like Anton told, we did a lot of tours, other appearances, like music videos as well. I think we used this 3 years of Guitar Connection very, very wisely. But now it's time to step forward, time to pay higher attention to the next album. And that's what we are working on.
It's already been the longest stretch so far in your career, right? Although you only had 3 albums, but 3 years is already the longest you guys had between the albums already.
Yeah, but if you check other bands, in the very beginning, it's easy, to explain, because in the very beginning you don't have that many tours, you don't have that many shows, imitations, other duties. You have more time to create music. But when you are a little bit more popular, and of course the other duties and shows, tours especially, they increase to higher numbers. We at this time we also had to say no for tours just to be able to start the process of the album.
It's always do you want to do it or not? Yeah.
Well, he can tell, but yes, definitely. Of course, we love touring, but it's always good to play new songs. When we play for 3 years the same songs over and over again, it's boring sometimes for the audience, even though they see it like not as often as we play it. But there, actually, we have quite many die-hard fans. They follow the band. From here, greetings to them. We really appreciate their dedication. But they really come from one show to another. They see out of 100 shows per year, maybe 50. And it's super feeling, it's really great. But now we will have to focus on the new album.
Full interview with Beast in Black will be available on our second channel, MP2, so if you're a fan of this band, definitely check it out. We talk about a lot of things, including why this band was able to succeed in the world of metal, unlike so many others. So definitely do check it out on MP2 if you'd like to. But here I just wanted to point out that I really have a gut feeling that it will be next year, and possibly around the time of the start of the tour together with Helloween, that Beast in Black will finally treat their fans to new music by this band. And in all honesty, I cannot wait to hear it, because the thing is that only after finally seeing Beast in Black live, I understood why this band has such a die-hard following around the world. Iron Maiden do the impossible. Again. Just a couple of hours ago, Forbes magazine... By the way, when did Forbes start caring about music? And heavy metal in particular. They talk about metal pretty much every week. Oh, I love it. But anyways, Forbes magazine reported that 2 Iron Maiden albums from 1984 and 1986, which all Iron Maiden fans do of course know are Powerslave and Somewhere in Time respectively, hit UK charts at very high positions once again. And not just some random UK charts, some of the most competitive ones out there. 40 years after its release. So Powerslave reappeared at number 2 on both the official vinyl albums and official rock and metal albums charts, and came at number 6 on the official album sales and official physical album lists. Not rock or metal, overall album sales. And most importantly, it also landed in top 40 on the main roster of the most consumed albums, which is basically the most competitive chart there is in the United Kingdom, on which Powerslave reappeared at number 33. Once again, 40 freaking years after its release. And all of this, of course, became possible because Iron Maiden simply reissued those 2 records, and Iron Maiden fans went absolutely insane about those. By the way, Powerslave, I think, got restocked recently, so I'll put the link for all of those who didn't have a chance to buy it. But still, isn't this absolutely insane? And once again shows that heavy metal fanbase is one of the most dedicated and diehard fanbases out there in the world. And I don't know about you, but I'm super proud to be a part of it. And meanwhile, Iron Maiden are hitting the stages in Latin America with their The Future Past tour, and here we can see what crazy fan base actually means. As of course all the fans around the world got crazy about the Future Past tour, but those guys in Mexico, Colombia and Peru are simply on another level. And by the way, in just a couple of days there will be a very special surprise for all the Iron Maiden fans on the show, specifically about the Future Past tour in Latin America. So make sure to not miss it if you're one of those. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and thank you so much for supporting me, this show, in Ukraine through this very difficult time. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, spread the word. You know the drill. All YouTubers ask you about exactly the same thing, so you know what to do. Thank you, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!